Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is the old captain coming to you live from Crooked Creek with this week's Crooked Creek Hymn of the Week. Now it's Monday afternoon, it's overcast, and if it starts to rain, I'm heading straight over to that dock over my right shoulder because we didn't go far. Today's thought it really stems from my weekend, but the thought is a twofold thought. The first part is God's omnipresence, and the second thought is our thankfulness. And I talked to Siri earlier, and I said, define God's omnipresence. And Siri said, it's the concept that God is everywhere, that you can't go anywhere that He's not there. And this particular weekend, we had the opportunity to go up to Normandy, Tennessee to visit some precious folks, David and Shay Tanner. And on the way up there, I passed so many places that brought up memories in my mind. If you're not familiar with Normandy, Tennessee, you wind up on 75 North and go through Atlanta, through Chattanooga, and on up that way. And I understand that we were 55 or 60 miles from Nashville. But my memories were a little bit further south. And I just want to tell you about a few of those memories. We went by Howell Mill Road on I-75 in Atlanta. And that may not mean a thing to you, but back in 1971, or maybe 72, but I think it was probably 71, I was smitten with this young lady in Atlanta, and I wanted to go see her really bad. So I hitchhiked, that's right, from Jacksonville, Florida to Howell Mill Road to see Ramona. And I don't think she knew I was coming, or Mom and Dad certainly didn't know I was coming, but that was a memory and an experience that is etched in my mind. And when I passed Howell Mill Road, I thought, 1971, 1972, and here it is, 2025. Well, went on up the road, and I saw the Etowah River, I saw the Oostenaula River, saw the Tennessee River, Nickajack Lake, parts of Chickamauga, places that I had fished in the past, and certainly there were memories there. But before getting there, I saw the Rome exit, Rome, Georgia. Now, Berry College is located in Rome, Georgia, and I enrolled there as a almost 18-year-old freshman in the fall of 1970. So Rome, Georgia exit tugged at my heart. And it was there that I met that young lady that lived off Howell Mill Road, and we married between our junior and senior year, and here in 2 or 3 weeks we will have been married 52 years. So a strong tug toward Rome, Georgia. Went up through Dalton, and in Dalton, you may not know it, but the Georgia High School Association has a Hall of Fame there, and I was honored to go and be a part of a presentation to a friend, Kenneth Ross, who was inducted into that Hall of Fame not terribly too many years ago, really longer than I want to think probably. But every exit went by Ringgold, Georgia, the home of one of my dear friends, Willis Calloway, and Lafayette, Georgia, and different places, at Fairmount, places that I had known people that had lived there. And I thought, it doesn't matter where I've been or where I go, God's there. And I went up into those mountains in Chattanooga and further north, and I didn't see anything like that in Jacksonville, Florida. But God was, He was at the sand dunes at the jetties in Jacksonville but he was also in those mountains at Chattanooga. There's no place where I could go that he wasn't already there and hadn't already been, mainly because he created it to start with. But I look back and see God's hand through my life, and there was no place that I went that he was not. And David, the psalmist David, the sweet psalmist of David, he in Psalms 139, he's not running from God. He's just saying, everywhere I go, you're there. He says, where can I go from your spirit, or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you're there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. David said, it doesn't matter where I go. You're there. You're omnipresent. And folks, I look back and I see not only God's omnipresence, but I see his guidance. And I see his hand throughout all my life, bringing me to where I am here in August of 2025. And so I was trying to think of a song, and I've gotten this wonderful book from the Wallers that I've referred to, and there's a song for the beauty of the earth. And this fella, now check this name out, Folliott Sanford Pierpoint. Folliott Sanford Pierpoint wrote this song for the beauty of the earth. And I think Folliott was walking along and looking at all the hills, and he wasn't in Chattanooga for sure, because he was born in Bath. It's starting to rain. We're going to have to go. Stay tuned. We'll go continue once we get across the creek. Once we get in the slip, we'll be out of the rain. We can continue. Stay tuned for Folliott Sanford Pierpoint. Okay. We're out of the rain, but this metal roof is going to make this a little more difficult. But I will not be denied, and we're going to continue. Annie just got out of the canoe, but we're going to continue with our thoughts. I'm going to raise this canoe up just a little bit, so be patient with me just for a second. Maybe the rain will slack off for a second. All right, at least we can be still. Get my books over here out of the rain. But anyway, I can just envision this Folliott Sanford Pierpoint walking around, and I'll read the part of the paragraph. It says, one day when he was 29, Folliott found himself walking in the countryside on a beautiful spring day. He saw the ocean of green, the blue dome of heaven, and the winding Avon River cutting through the flowery landscape. Overwhelmed with God's creative brilliance, he wrote this poem. He intended it primarily for communion services in the Anglican Church. but when it jumped the Atlantic, it quickly became associated with the American Thanksgiving holiday. Now, Folliot was born October 7th, 1835 in Bath, England. So, it's been a while since 1835, almost a couple hundred years. But the title of his song was For the Beauty of the Earth. Now, it probably wasn't pouring down rain when he sang, but Will Rogers says everybody talks about the weather, but no one does anything about it. But we're going to go ahead with this. I'm on a mission, and I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to redo this. I think it'll add to the thing. But anyway, it's called For the Beauty of the Earth, and he's just noticing. I saw those mountains in Chattanooga, and the mountain. Saw that Tennessee River. I saw those things leading to Rome, Georgia, and the memories of the beauty of the Berry campus. And I thought, how could you not see all that and not be thankful to God? How could you not look back as a 72-year-old man and reflect on a time when you were 18 and 19 hitchhiking to see a girl, unbeknownst to you, that you would marry and be with for the next 50 plus years. So God's omnipresence, he's been there all the way. He was at Berry, he was up to Oostanala, he was at the Etowah, he was in Chattanooga the several times we went there. There's nowhere you can go that God isn't already there. We're going to try it, folks. 5 verses for the beauty of the earth. For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human love, brother, sister, parent, child, friends on earth and friends above, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the church that evermore lifted holy hands above, offering upon every shore her pure sacrifice of love. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. Last verse. For thyself best gift divine to our race so freely given, for that great, great love of thine, peace on earth and joy in heaven. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. Now, folks, he's thankful for the beauty of the earth, for the wonder of each hour, for the joy of human love, for the church, for his best gift divine, for that great, great love of thine, God's love, peace on earth, and joy of heaven. If you will, look back on your timeline today. Look back, and I believe if you're a believer that you'll be able to see God's hand all throughout your life, and you will say, certainly He is omnipresent, and certainly I have so much for which to be thankful. We need to be thankful for the rain as well, even though at times it can be a little inconvenient. But anyway, thank you as always for joining us for this Crooked Creek Hymn of the Week. You might even think, one day says, you remember that time old Coach Favor did that Hymn of the Week when it was pouring down rain? What an idiot. So, but either way, be thankful to God. And thank you for joining us for this week's Crooked Creek West Hymn of the Week. Take care and God bless.